Welcome to the KK Collision Football Show. Honored tonight to have some Liberty Center old-timers with us, Tory, Strock. This is going to be fun. I can't wait.
I look around this room, Lynn, and I have flashbacks to my childhood, some good memories and then some bad memories. You know, I spent about a third of my childhood at the Liberty Inn bar, and
We were all there.
I may or may not have seen some of these guys in there, you know, as my dad was trying to counsel them and straighten them up.
Yes.
You know, and, so, it is. I don't even have words, because again, when you grow up in this town, these are so many familiar faces, and then the old saying, "It takes a village." I mean, these are the guys that like help raise you. You know what I mean? And so it's a pleasure, and I'm thankful that they're all here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tory, Strock, I am Lynn. Groll. Can't thank Kyle Kern and the crew at KK Collision enough. This is, I think, their fourth or fifth year that they've been the presenting sponsor of our football show. Can't thank Kyle enough. Very generous of him to sponsor us again. We're going to have all you guys introduce yourselves and kind of the positions you played in the era, the years that you played, guys.
I'm Kyle Carter. I started, I guess, in 1969. Played offensive guard most of the time, some center. Played from, I don't know, 69 to around 1980, something like that. So.
Hey, Randy Vanier. I'm from Wasion. I came over here and played right offensive tackle with these guys. Great group of guys over here. I played from, I think, 69 to for 6 years, 76. So, had a great time.
My name is Dan Hefflinger. I came home from the service in 1968, and I kind of got drafted in by some of the older fellows. They said they needed somebody to play defensive back, and at that time we actually were playing some flag football, and Delta had a team, and Terry Bowers, who pretty much led this group here, and Lamont Wiley, and a few others. Bill Went from Napoleon. We all went and got to play in this flag football, and ended up, we played the Toledo Tornadoes that year, who was already a semi-pro football team, and we got our butts kicked pretty good, but it was made us mad enough that I guess the next year we came back and said we're going to start our own team here in the Liberty Center area. We got suited up, and of course everybody had to buy their own uniforms and pads and whatnot, and from there on, I think I played from, this was in 68 when we started, but from 68 to, I think, 74, 75 was my last year. I got my helmet here, and the reason I quit playing is somebody tore it off in a game. So that was the end of me. But no, it was a lot of fun. We had good times, and we got a lot of good memories.
I'm swimming. I got like a million questions.
Go ahead. We're going to do this in segments because we have a handful of other guys back here that are going to come up here and talk.
So looking at the roster, a lot of Liberty Center guys, but also guys from the area. Randy, how did you become part of the Liberty Bengals?
I was driving around Wasion one Sunday afternoon, and Breezy Dustrange came up to me, and Breezy said, "You want to play football?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to, you know." He said, "Hop in, we're going to Liberty Center." I said, "Okay." And it was Gene Krebs?
Yeah.
Gene was in the car, and we're crazy guy. We're driving over to Liberty, and Gene pulls out a handgun. He says, "Watch this." And he blows a slug off out the window. I says, "Who the heck am I in here with?"
Wow. Was there a boundary for who could play for Liberty Center, or was it anybody?
Anybody wanted to.
Okay, anybody that wanted to. There was no set districts or
We had
anything.
guys from Napoleon, Grand Rapids, Bowling Green, Montpelier, Wasion, of course, Delta.
In the beginning, they was coming from all over, but then each respective community, would say, well, we can get our own team together, so they'd start their own team. So then eventually Wasion had a team. Randy stuck with us, bless his heart. We wouldn't let him go. There was a lot of
Yeah.
locals.
Yeah, there was. We had a lot of guys from a lot of different towns, and it meshed well. They really did. Then, of course, Rex from Akron, and we had to teach him how to play football.
I've heard. Yeah,
Like I told you earlier, we made a star out of him.
I can believe that.
So Randy, when you got in the car that day to go to Liberty Center, were you worried about concussions and possibly getting injured or not?
No. No. My wife says, you got back problems, you got knee problems. She says, would you do all this again? I said, no question. I'd be back. This was fun. I still play if I can take the pounding, but everything's long gone.
That's great. That's great.
How many games a year would you play?
The first year, it was just Defiance. Defiance had an inter-squad game every year for a while. And Lamont and Terry went down and played in that one year. And they talked to them, and they actually give us a set of their uniforms to play the first game. Then after that, that would have been in 68. 69, we had it on our own, and I think we played a hole and hole with Defiance. Then, who started it? I don't remember the first team to start besides us, for the next team. And we played 3 games, and we was playing 5 to 7 games a year.
Okay.
And the difference, like I said, Wasion started a team, Napoleon had a team, Tenora, Blissfield, Michigan, and we ended up picking up games with a team out of Lima, Fostoria, New Philadelphia, Canton. Then at the end, we ended up joining it was a semi-pro league, and it was Springfield, Columbus, Lyman, these other teams I mentioned. I can't remember who all it was. But
Did you guys play?
that was probably 79 or 80 when that started, wasn't it?
It was later on, yeah. That's
last couple of
when,
years I played this.
that's when things
Yeah,
began to become serious.
yeah.
It wasn't near as much fun as what we used to.
Like Dan said, our first uniforms came from Grand Rapids when they consolidated with Otsego. They had a bunch of uniforms left over that we paid, $100 for or something like that. I don't remember what it was. And of course, our shoulder pads was about this big, and we were about this big. We squeezed in as much as we could, and guys brought their own equipment. Every year, we just kind of added to it. I think our first jerseys was just plain white T-shirts with some letters sewed on them, numbers sewed on them.
Did you guys play on Saturday nights primarily?
Saturday nights.
Primarily.
Yeah. And we had big crowds. It was a pretty big deal at the time. Had a lot of fun, and we partied. We played hard. We partied.
Party harder.
We at first, I don't know if it was when we first started or later on, but afterwards we go out to BA Miller's trucking garage out there, and BA, of course, BA loved football. He had done anything for us, And he furnished us 4 kids, as a matter of fact. Then he opened his garage up for us, had table and stuff set up, and we'd go out there, big social gathering afterwards. Usually we get home by 3 or 4.
Now, is this a true story? Because Coors beer at the time did not ship this way. And now I heard that B.A. Miller, when he would have a truck out that way, would load it up with Coors Banquet or whatever it was back then and bring it back for your banquet. Is that a true story?
That question for Rick.
Okay.
He would know that. I don't know that. I've heard that too.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not. Rick would know.
Okay. We'll get Rick up here later.
Rick gets up here.
Yeah.
That'd be a good question for Rick.
Okay.
Rick's pretty calculated. He may not even divulge that. You see him over there? He looks
Yeah.
like a professor.
He's got a lot of knowledge to get it out of him.
He was better known in football as Fluffy.
His hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He hung on for a long time.
okay.
He played a lot of years.
And you played where the high school does?
We played well in high school.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It was grass back then.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would practice during the week or not?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you would,
Couple of,
okay.
I think, what, 2 nights a week maybe?
Yeah.
Get off work and get there as fast as we could.
Wow.
Did you get most of the guys at practice most of the time?
You got 30 people that practice most of the time. The practices were harder than the games,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
They were
They played.
fast.
Everybody wanted to play, and, you know, pretty much out of an offense and a defense. And so, but they practiced hard.
So you guys are practicing hard, everybody wants to compete, right? I mean, but did you guys beat the hell out of each other, or did you,
Did we ever?
Yeah.
did you? Or did you try to kind of look out for one another?
We beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Did not back off.
No.
Somehow I had a feeling that's what they were gonna say.
Well, yeah.
Rex will tell you a story about the first night he showed up.
Was he a little
You
scared?
know, he was.
We tried to
big
take his
man
knees out.
High and northern. But,
Yeah, he was a big,
we were gonna show him.
big bad fullback from Ohio Northern, you know. We did our very best to take his knees out right away. He hurt me. Me playing in the middle linebacker position, that's all I could see is this tank running at me every night.
Oh, man. Now, would you spend the off-season trying to stay in shape and do some conditioning or at all? No, okay.
What was shape?
We stayed in party shape.
Yeah, you got the arms. Good.
Randy, was that your favorite thing, just the camaraderie with the guys as much as the
This
football?
was such a great group of people. I made so many good friends and had just a great time. And like Dan said, we tried to beat each other up in practice, but when we got up to Liberty Inn, we were good friends.
Who was the toughest guy back in your era?
On the other team,
Your team or their other teams?
Bill Wendt from Defiance.
Okay.
He's the strongest guy that I played against as an offensive tackle. And I could move him, but we had good backs. His brother Dale and a couple other good ones. So I said, you gotta go quick, because I can't hold this guy up. You know?
Randy and Bill Wendt had some classic battles. They were
You know, Bill was in a lot better shape than me, that's the heck of it, you know?
Sometimes the play would last a little longer.
You got it.
Dan, anything to add on some of the tough guys back in that?
Lamont Wiley, he come out of high school, I think he was a little All-American. And Lamont was always very good at what he did. He could do anything he wanted when he wasn't tired and wanted to. I mean, there was times he laid off, but if there was something that we really needed, an extra yard or something like that, that's all you had to do is get on his back, you know, and he'd be there. He was a real horse. In fact, that was his name, Hoss. Remember, we called him Horse. He was a pretty tough fellow.
What did your offenses and defenses look like back then?
5-3, well, I don't know about the offenses. I was on defense. We had an Oklahoma defense and a 5-3 defense was our basics. Yeah.
Okay.
Offense was basically a full house with a wing once in a while. Flanker out wide once in a while. Usually run 2 tight ends.
Did you throw it at all, or was it run?
Yeah, that's what got us where we
Terry
were.
Miller to Rick Miller. And
Miller to Miller.
that would happen. When I coached Wasion for 2 years, I told my defensive backs, I says, you get on Rick Miller, and he's gonna look like he's a snail, and all of a sudden, he's gonna take off for the races, and that ball's gonna be there. So I says, I don't care what you do, but you gotta stick with him. And we played pretty good against Liberty, except I couldn't knock this guy down. I had some good defensive players, and I said, you gotta hit Lindgren. I said, and it'd be short yardage. I said, okay, we got this. They handed the ball to Rex. Oh, shoot, he buzzed through the He was good.
Yeah, he was. You only wanted to hit him once.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it hurts.
Did the coaches call the plays, or were the players, did they have the ability to call some plays back in your day?
Terry called, I think it was Terry called most of the plays.
Terry did.
He called out his own plays.
Okay,
If they might call timeout, ask us to do something, but
yeah.
they were,
Terry Miller was a very smart quarterback, and he'd dream up some plays, and we'd make them work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
made a few on the ground in the huddle.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of sandlot football, you know?
Yeah, it was, some hard-nosed stuff
Yeah. Would you go back and do it again?
in a heartbeat.
Oh, you wouldn't have to twist my arm.
I got two artificial knees because of it.
But you don't care. Yeah.
You think you got one more game in you if you had to?
I played a couple, I should. No, that's,
Well, these young athletes, they train a lot harder than we train, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you guys are probably tougher than some of them, I'll tell you that.
Probably at the time, but
Wow.
I see what these kids are lifting and they're running and stuff, and that's quite a program if you want to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we didn't have any of that. We were just hard-nosed.
Yeah, we just had fun.
We just had fun. We had a lot of fun.
You like football? You like beer? Come join us.
That's all it took, huh? I'm just looking through this old program here. Wow. A lot of familiar names. Faces have changed a little bit, Coach Strock.
Faces have changed a lot. But Randy looked, you were put together back then, Randy.
Well, I had to be to keep up with these guys, so.
Had the old neck roll.
He played a Bowling Green before he came over here, so
Okay.
I was
he
a
had a
lot
little bit
of
more
fun.
experience.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun over there, but not as much fun as I had at Liberty Center.
Really, really.
I don't have anything else
You good?
for this group, yeah.
Okay.
We got some other guys over there with some good stories.
Yeah.
so.
Bring them on up. Bring them on up.
All right, thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
KK Collision is a leader in the auto repair industry that has been servicing Northwest Ohio's auto needs for over 27 years. We offer a fast and reliable repair option that stands above the competition. When your vehicle enters our facility, you can be assured that you have chosen the most technologically advanced repair facility in the area. KK Collision is an automotive body and mechanical shop, as well as both a light and heavy-duty towing service located in Liberty Center. Our towing services cover Northwest Ohio and the surrounding area 24 hours a day. Are you in need of a repair estimate? Visit us anytime during business hours for a free estimate at T556 Ohio 109 on the north side of Liberty Center, or call 888-533-7801 or visit our website at kkcollision.com. Thank you again to Kyle Kern and the crew at KK Collision for sponsoring our football show this season. We have some great guests lined up. Lynn, the former Napoleon coach, will be here next week to join us. Coach Strock, that will be enjoyable too.
Yep, he's an old school guy.
He could have probably played with these guys.
He would have fit right in.
Yeah, he
He's
would've.
from down around Ironton area.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Got a new crew of the old timers up here. I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourselves for our listeners out there that are watching this as well, and the years that you played on the old timers.
Rex Lindgren, my first year was 74, and I think I played, I don't know, till I was about 35 years old, so I was an old timer.
Gary Carter, I started in 69 and played till 79.
Tom Moeller, I graduated in 68, so I started in 68 I think I played for about 6 or 7 years.
Mike Band, I started in 73 right out of after high school and played 3 years total before I had to move away.
So when you guys were winding up your high school careers, you guys jumped right in. Was it something that you said, hey, I want to play for the Bengals when I graduate, or did they have to recruit you?
I wanted to keep playing football. That's basically all I wanted to do is just play football, so.
Well, we only won one game in high school, so I wanted to play in front of a crowd. So I knew I had to play on a Saturday night, because that was the big night. It's the exact opposite it is now in Liberty Center. Saturday night was the big night of football at Liberty. And plus my half-brother, Terry Bowers, was a coach, so I had to play.
Go ahead, Groll.
No, I was going to ask, where did the genesis of the Bengals nickname come from, if anybody knows? Dan, you can come back up if you...
But it was kind of, somebody mentioned the fact that Tigers, of course, Liberty Center Tigers, why don't we just call ourselves the Bengals? So for a year or two, we did call the Bengals, and the next thing you know, we started, Terry could say this, but he's not here anymore. We got letters from Cincinnati. At that time, they had brought in their pro team and called themselves the Bengals. And some hotshot lawyer from down there in Cincinnati was going to sue us and told us that we had to give up that name. And, well, push come to shove, and the argument got dropped real quick when they found out we had been calling ourselves the Bengals long before they even had a team incepted, so.
Wow.
It stuck.
Wow. Cool. I didn't know that.
But we took their colors. Oh, okay.
What were your memories from the league when you guys played?
Oh, the biggest thing I remember is just, you got to play other schools, and our high school team really wasn't that competitive in that, and it was nice beating up the other schools and winning all the time. I mean, really, we didn't have maybe one close game during that, when we first started there, right?
Yeah.
I didn't join till 74, but I don't know how many games they won in a row, like 60, 70 games or something. About 10 years or something, they went undefeated. And eventually, that's what caused the league to drop, at least the local teams, because they couldn't beat us.
And you became semi-pro after that for a while, right?
Yeah, that's when joined in with Springfield team and Tuscarawas and Canton and those schools there.
Okay.
And that was a different level of football.
Yeah, and you were telling me before we got on here that Ashland had some guys that were pretty good that played.
Yeah, I remember playing against Tuscarawas, and their entire starting backfield was all Ashland starters when I was in school.
Wow. Wow.
Gary, what'd you enjoy most about playing for the Bengals?
I just love football. So that was a Saturday night thing to do.
Coach Moeller, what'd you enjoy the most?
Winning.
Like him?
No, being around the other guys, and I'd get off work and couldn't wait to get to football, and so I just enjoyed it, being around other people.
Mike, how about you?
Same, and being around a camaraderie of everybody and being with your friends. And then Saturday night, of course, after the game was always the big parties afterward. Another thing, Tory, I sat with your dad at coffee every morning. He was our announcer over the PA system every Saturday night. He had that deep voice and sounded just like the old Green Bay Packers when you listen to him on the TV during that era. And I forgot all about it. John told me this today, that he sang the national anthem too, a cappella. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, Mike. One of my great childhood memories is when you guys would play at home on Saturday nights. Okay, now this was a little more towards the end of the Bengals, but I would spot up in the press box for my dad. So I'd sit there and watch the games. And one night, Skip Miller won the 50-50 drawing, and he happened to be sitting by my dad up in the press box. And Skip goes, I can't take that, I'm up here. But he ended up taking the purse, you know. And so I remember that very well. That was awesome. Would you guys say, because in Liberty Center, you can still coach kids a certain way, you can still demand excellence more than you can in some places. It's a football crazy town. Would you say that the Liberty Center Bengals have something to do with how much this community loves football?
Yeah, I would say so, because, when I came in, I'll never forget, I was coaching freshmen my first year here, which would have been 73, 74, and we're getting ready to scrimmage the high school team, and here comes 7 or 8 guys getting out of cars with their football equipment and coming down, and I remember asking Coach Rollins, I go, who in the heck are those guys? He goes, those are the old timers. And it was Mike and Tom and Moeller and Rick Miller and stuff like that. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I thought they were crazy to be scrimmaging guys who have already graduated. And I said, at the time, I go, well, I can get dressed. And they said, no. But I remember that. And then, because I didn't know anything about it. Because I was new in town and everything else, and everybody treated me like a piece of fresh meat. I got to be careful what I say. Because,
Thank you for that.
Anyway, it was great, and I started watching some of those games, and the next year I started playing myself, and like I said, the biggest thing was just the camaraderie. It was nice beating the other schools, and then the partying afterwards. My mom and dad would come up from Akron and then mainly, I don't know if they like the football some, but they enjoy going over to B.A. Miller's more, I think. So I had some great memories, I'll tell you.
If you ever seen the movie North Dallas 40, that was us.
Were the practices back then as violent as what yours were? And Coach Moore, you can jump in here too. What were those practices for you old timers? Were they like?
They were hard hitting. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think anybody let up. Everybody's fighting for a position, and it was very competitive.
And the coaches decided who was starting, or how did that play out?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, the coaches were Skip Miller and Terry Bowers, and I remember I had to earn my spot, so I had to run pretty hard, and I had no blocking during practice.
He wore pads. Every place you could put a pad.
Oh, I did.
Fun hitting him when he did it.
I had forearm pads everywhere, because I knew darn well that they weren't going to block for me. I was a new kid in town, and they were going to show me. Well, guess what? A couple of them got hurt, and it wasn't me.
You might want to confirm, back to the coaches with Carl or Dan. I think Kip Kern was one of the original coaches, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Ned Davis. Ned Davis, Kip Kern.
Wow. Why do you guys think that this community embraces football? Put that into words for me.
I think it's, they really love coming together in a small town, and it's school pride, community pride. That's what I noticed, and they just, and we were the smallest, at the time, I don't know if we are now, but we were the smallest school in the league for years, and then when, you're able to beat the bigger schools, you got bragging rights, a lot of people work together at Campbell's and stuff, and I think that, it's just to have the bragging rights, and football's what does it. I mean, it's a football community, equivalent to some of the MAC schools and that too. I mean, it's just a lot of pride, and the town closes down during a Friday night, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and if I hadn't played old timers football, I don't think I would have stayed here in this community. So that's one of the things that kept me here.
Wow.
One thing, they didn't have girls' sports back then. They didn't have cross-country, they didn't have soccer, so played football.
I think a lot of it's passed down, like my older brother played football, two of them played football, so everything around here is just passed down. My son played football, grandkids play football, so it's just something that's passed down, I guess.
I think, like, Liberty went through some rough times in the 70s, a high school team. So the Bengals filled that void. And then after that, Rex took over the high school program, and it's taken off since then, and Casey's kept it going, so that's where Liberty Center's at. They just like to win, I guess. They got 3 words: Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Rex, you said you wouldn't have stayed without the Old Timers League. Why is that?
Well, what it was, I first came here, we didn't know anybody, me and Kay, and, I didn't even know Liberty Center, Archbold, Waseon. I never heard of any of those schools. And, I got here and I wanted to coach football. I was doing wrestling first, and I wasn't able to coach football early. And so we were looking to leave. I had a couple opportunities to take off, but then, I got to, started playing old timers, and we started hanging around people that were our age. And I met Carl, which was probably the worst thing I've ever done.
We'll have to bring Carl back up so we can get his shots in.
Dale, and then Gary and Roger. I got to know the Carters first, and we got along really well, and we started, going out together and stuff like that. And, once you start meeting people, because up to that point, I was an outsider, everybody kind of pointed at you and stuff, and all admiring me, but at the same time, but it was fun. I mean, if you've played football, I know you, Lynn, as a non-athlete, didn't understand this, but, if you're an athlete, you enjoy winning. And, maybe sometime you'll be able to experience that, I don't know, but it's fun. I mean, you either love the game. Bottom line, also, my mentality is I didn't care if I killed somebody on the field. I really didn't. Hey, they're going to hit me, I'm going to hit them back, and if they die, they die.
You were getting another group up here.
I told you the shots were coming. I haven't seen him in 9 months.
Harry had the same mentality. When we were playing linebacker against the more semi-pro teams, we just would try to kill everybody we could. And I got to tell this story. This is terrible, but we're playing Springfield, and you have 2 guards who are like 6'5", 290. They just got cut from the Jets or something. And they're coming out, and we're playing linebackers, and the guy's kicking my butt. And I told Gary, I go, God, he goes, I'm getting my butt kicked. And I go, well, let's do some stunting. I go, you come around and hit my guy, I'll come take yours. I had Gary coming through, hitting my guy. I never got hit the rest of the game, and he's making tackle. Gary come back to the huddle, let it through his ear hole. And I go, so where'd you get? He goes, getting my butt kicked. I go, me too, but it seems to be working. I didn't tell him that until a year later. I'll never forget that. I felt sorry for him.
Gary, were you concerned about concussions back then?
No.
You didn't go through concussion protocol and stuff like that?
No.
Was there ever a guy in the league that you guys wanted to get than this guy right here? Was this the one guy you wanted to get, or was...
You mean, get?
Well,
have on your team.
Well, I know, but he torments you a little bit. Things like the story just...
Back then I was real timid.
His first night there, he run no pads up the middle, and I hit him chest high.
Yeah.
And I learned never again. You go,
I was scared of him.
from there on out.
I ran away from him. Because I played defensive back, and I never really wanted to tackle him.
Coach Muller, was Coach Lingard as tough as they say, or not?
No.
I know you hate to say this.
Depends on who you ask. He was a force.
Yeah.
I asked the first group, did you do any off-season conditioning, or was it first practice, first game, you just strapped it up and played?
I cut back maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes. So.
How do you top that?
For me personally, I was coaching wrestling, and I actually stayed in shape and worked out a little bit, which was a big advantage for me over these other guys.
Yeah.
Because I'd come in halfway shape, and then I'd see Louis Miller in the corner smoking cigarettes. Basically, I'd have to step over him during practice or something like that, because he'd be laying on the ground whining and crying, and then Carl would be down there whimpering and everything else. And then Gary'd be over there on defense crying a little bit. I'd go, Jesus Christ. And then somehow I was able to carry him. No, I'm kidding. Everybody was, they were tough. But me personally, I was in shape at that time. Not anymore, but.
Tom and Mike, did you guys try to?
I thought I was in shape, then I went to the Highway Patrol Academy and quickly learned I was not in shape. Found out. So, yeah, I didn't do a whole lot.
Coach Moeller, coming right out of high school, you were probably in decent
I
shape.
was in pretty decent shape. I wasn't very big, though. I weighed about 140. That was it.
Wow. What position did you play for the Bengals?
Defensive back.
See, I only played at 250.
I believe it.
And ran a 4.7.
Gary, anything other than a couple of smokes you did to get ready for the season?
I did join a gym and worked out some, yeah.
I believe that.
Gary was always in shape.
Carters were all tough, weren't they?
All but the oldest one.
Construction, didn't you?
Yeah, they all work construction and everything else. No, I'll be honest with you. The best blocking I ever had, I played in high school and in college, and it was fun playing with the Bengals because I actually had a hole to run through. And I get a little bit of a steam and get through the yard, so it was easy to gain yards. But it was the best blocking I ever had, and that's why it was so much fun for me personally. Yeah.
Who were some of the tougher teams that you played? Who was your toughest opponent back in your day?
Well, it would have been when we got Tuscarora.
But nobody before that really challenged you?
No,
I thought Napoleon was, I never played against those teams, but Napoleon's always tough.
Yeah.
John Downey was a good running back.
Defiance.
Okay.
How long did Napoleon have a team? Like the same length of time?
They
the
were
Bengals?
called the Little Corporals.
Okay.
Little Corporals.
Did they start about the same time, the Bengals?
A couple years after
About the same
us.
time Wasion did.
Okay, a couple years after.
Yeah.
I thought the toughest game we played in, which was locally, was when we played Wasion once. And we were actually losing that game going into the last quarter, which, was unusual for us. But what it was Terry Miller decided that he was going to pass the ball all the time to Rick. And this is the truth. And on the very first series, they complete a long pass, so therefore the rest of the game, let's pass it to Rick, and Rick would drop it or whatever. And finally, we're getting into the last quarter, and these guys, they were panicking. Carl, you remember that? they were panicking because it looked like we were going to lose, and then I just said, "Give me the ball." And we went down and scored, and then Terry made a long run by himself, who never ran the ball. Terry didn't. We ended up winning that game. Close, so.
And you would just play regular season games, or would you play playoff games too?
No,
Just regular season, okay. You decided champion that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
My last thing, would you all do it all over again, play for the Bengals?
Oh, yeah, it was a blast. I mean, if you love playing football, you get an opportunity to play some more. Because that's the thing about a lot of these kids, if they're not going to play in college, which most of them are, it's over, and then all of a sudden you got a second chance to play some more. If they were to start it up again, the biggest thing's liability now and everything else, but I'm sure that the same thing would happen again, possibly. At least in Liberty. Nobody else in the league, because everybody else in the league is so weak. Especially at Ayersville. Anybody who graduated from Ayersville, I gotta feel sorry.
I knew it was
We'd
coming.
always have a standing bet on when Louis is gonna get the first fight, first quarter, second quarter, and get kicked out.
Yeah, Luke got kicked out of every single game.
The thing that amazes me is all you guys here tonight, and I look through a lot of the guys that are on the roster. None of you.
I'm the best looking I know. You don't have to say anything about that.
Oh, there he is, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you haven't moved away. Everybody stays here. Is there a reason why?
I moved away, so.
Community home.
Yeah, but just in the kind of in the immediate area at least, nobody's left.
Yeah,
Hardly.
that's, you know, it's just the community and that, and, you know, like I said, when I first came in, I was an outsider. Some people still think, I've been here, what, 50-some years now? I don't know, how, maybe more than that. And then Gary still calls me the outsider.
Yeah.
Of course, he came, of course, he came from Cadaz, right? Cadaz, so, you know. But no, I mean, it's community and everything else. And the school's the center of the whole thing, and football's the heart of it.
Anything to add that's kept you guys?
My wife would move down to with our kids in a heartbeat, but she knows I won't leave, especially as long as Casey, my nephew, still coach here. So,
Yeah. You do porch coaches on Thursday nights for those people that are listening and watching. Mike has done porch coaches. When did it get established? 1996, Mike?
somewhere close to that.
And is the Bengals part of the reason why? Something like that, and the
No,
team here?
had already been out, that was 20-some years ago.
Yeah, but still, just the football love
But
is,
a lot of guys, the initial guys
Yeah.
were former Bengals.
Yeah.
But Rick and I kind of started that. That's another show in itself here.
right. Yeah, but it all kind of goes
Meshes,
together.
yeah.
Meshes, yeah.
Yeah.
And what football means to this community. Yeah. You good?
I'm good, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Lynn. You're such a tremendous man. I really appreciate your podcast.
He's a nice guy.
He's trying to make up for it. KK Collision is a leader in the auto repair industry that has been servicing Northwest Ohio's auto needs for over 27 years. We offer a fast and reliable repair option that stands above the competition. When your vehicle enters our facility, you can be assured that you have chosen the most technologically advanced repair facility in the area. KK Collision is an automotive body and mechanical shop, as well as both a light and heavy-duty towing service located in Liberty Center. Our towing services cover Northwest Ohio and the surrounding area 24 hours a day. Are you in need of a repair estimate? Visit us anytime during business hours for a free estimate at T556 Ohio 109 on the north side of Liberty Center, or call 888-533-7801 or visit our website at kkcollision.com. Welcome back to the KK Collision Football Show. Thank you to Kyle Kern for being the presenting sponsor again of our football show, joined by a new crew of the former old timers. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves, the years you played and the positions you played.
Okay. Dan Brown, thanks for having me tonight. And I played in 79-80 in the new, when we formed the new semi-football league, and I was a place kicker, and I played strong safety and a little bit of cornerback.
Rick Miller, I played 72 to 75 or 6, I think. And I was the wide receiver, and once in a while I was the quarterback, when very seldom, because my brother was, but once in a while.
Louis Miller as center, played from 70 to 75, I believe.
Yeah, Tom Heffler, and after I got out of service, I played from 71 to maybe 3, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Forgot.
Now, you were telling me the other day that Rick strapped him up after he retired, right?
So I wanted to bring that up, because some things escape me, Rick, but there's some things I remember very well. And so, when was the last season the Bengals played football?
That I don't know.
Were you still playing in 82, 81? Okay. So I'm in the press box, my dad's announcing, and I'm spotting, okay? And you were in street clothes for the first half. And then the second half, you guys come rolling out of the metal building, and Lewis was playing at this time because he got thrown out in the first half.
No way.
Yes, he did. And he was standing on the sideline in an unbuttoned flannel shirt the entire second half, and I asked my dad what happened. He said Lewis got thrown out. I said, well, what's he doing now? He said he's probably waiting to fight the guy after the game. You were playing Blissfield. And so the second half's getting ready to start, and there's Rick Miller suited up, warming up on the sidelines. It was like, I don't know if you guys know the movie The Best of Times with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams, when they go back and replay that game from high school. That's what it was like. And so it would have been, I'd have probably been 6 or 7, so 81, 82. Rick, do you remember coming out to play the second half?
Yes. Pretty embarrassing, really. We had played somebody before, and I actually got my ribs bruised so bad I couldn't stand it. I'm sitting in the stands watching, and I'm thinking, man, I can help this team. I got Rex Lindgren syndrome. I'm thinking, I can go do something, like Rex always is going to do. Well, I tried. I told Phil Spieth was the first guy I had to give the ball to. I said, Phil, whatever you do, don't fumble, because I can't get hit. He fumbled. And I fell on it. Some guy nailed me, and I thought, why in the world am I out here? But it's a true story. I don't brag about this story.
Okay. I remember very well, believe it or not.
That's a good memory. Yeah. Why did you guys want to join this Old Timers League?
That was just a thing to do. When I got a service, everybody was playing ball, had to get in there with it.
For me, it was, I've never played high school sports, and it kind of fulfilled a little vacancy I had in my life. Plus, I've got a lot of good people like Randy Bonnier, Nick Flores from Wasion, and other people, that I never would have met in my life if I hadn't been on the football team.
I helped coach him out.
You did, Tom. Did me good.
One more time.
I think I was a senior in high school, and I was watching on a Saturday. They were playing, I believe, Defiance. Was there a guy named Mike Welker that kicked the field goal to win that game?
Yeah, worked for the Langenduffers from St. Francis.
And I was sitting there watching, man, this would be fun someday. And as soon as I got out, I joined.
I just like playing the game. A lot of fun.
Never any worries. Coach Linger mentioned liability nowadays, right? But, did you guys were you conscious at all about health insurance and cheese or Pete's? If I get my legs snapped, I'm not going to be able to go to work. I've got a family, I've got kids. Did you guys ever think big picture, or were you just living in the moment?
No, we didn't want to go home and see our wives. We're a lot of thinking there. A lot of thinking, Tory.
A lot of them had problems because they was working and like Louis, and I wasn't working, so it didn't matter.
Rick, did you ever think about your health?
I'm not really sure that we were smart enough to think that way. No, I never did once.
Didn't you?
No.
Danny, did you think about your health?
Not really. At that age, you're invincible.
I tell Lynn all the time, we travel to different games and things, and I'll go down a rabbit hole and start telling him old stories, things I remember growing up, whether it was at the Liberty Inn or Bartell's Cafe, or we went to a cookout at Louie's house one time, and there's things I remember about that, believe it or not, and I always tell him those things, and sometimes he's blown away by how different things were back then. Why have things evolved from where they were to now? I'd go to a Tigers game with my dad and his buddies, and every single one would be burning a cigarette, and the windows would be up, and I'd be sick to my stomach, and I'm 6 years old. Now you get thrown in jail, Why have we evolved so much? Why are things so different now? You guys were crazy.
People sobered up.
That may be true, Lou.
Wasn't their fault.
I mean, it's extreme from where it was to where it is now. It's extreme. I mean, your parents, Rick, your parents never went and whined to the coach when you weren't, maybe playing this position or that position, right? How did we get here? Or is that a story for another time?
Liberals.
What did he say? I don't know. What did he say?
Liberals.
I don't have an answer for that. I would think that people back then, there was more respect towards one another, and you just lived differently, and you lived by that. I mean, people didn't hate each other. I mean, people liked each other. I don't know if that's true today, but it's just, today there's so much out there that, and I say this to people all the time, I'm thankful that when I grew up, I did what I did. I would not want to have grown up in this time. It's just, there's too much out there.
Yeah, can you imagine getting 30 or 40 guys together in today's society from a community to do what they did? We're too busy.
No.
Are we too busy?
Yeah, a lot of other options, right? Louis, what would have happened if they'd have had cell phones and video and stuff back when you guys were playing old timers?
Probably true. Something's right out there. Thanks, Carl.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Talk about, Lynn always asks this when we're talking to our high school coaches. I love the question. Talk about some of the guys you played with, not against, but you played with that maybe, because I'm looking and seeing some names here that I remember from days gone by, and I know they were tough. Who are some tough guys that you remember playing with that you loved going to battle with?
Lamont Wiley. I had to practice against him. Across the line, I had to be nice.
When I started playing, Lamont was probably past his peak years, because when did Lamont graduate from high school?
62.
62, I graduated in 77, so he's 15 years, and he was still playing when I was in 79.
Wow.
80. And matter of fact, I got a little story about this, about Lamont. We were down now, I think Rex said that once we got in that semi-pro league, it got serious. I mean, you very rarely seen a 180-pound tailback. They were anywhere from 210 to 260, and some of them played Division I. We played Columbus, and their tailback played for Michigan State. He was a Columbus boy, and he was Division I, and he was like 6'4", and probably 240.
Jeez.
And I played, I'm getting to the Lamont story. And Lamont was playing on the line, I'm 20, and he's, 35, something like that. So we're playing down in Columbus, and I'm strong safety. And I'm watching this running back, he just towers over everybody. So during the game, they ran a sweep to my side. All of a sudden, I seen our defensive end, instead of trying to get him in, there were a linebacker to pick him up. That defensive end is flying that way. So it's me and this running back. I'm on the little island by myself with him. Well, you can't wrap up, so I just knocked him, his legs out from underneath him. So second play, they get up there and they got the same formation, and I'm going, holy shit. Well, that's what they did. They ran the sweep again, and I see the defensive end going that way. Well, after that play, I got a headache. My ears are starting to ring, because I took the brunt of the battle. So the third play, same dang play. We were going to run it till we stopped them. Well, same thing happened this time. Ears were ringing, had a headache, I was seeing stars, and I'm going back to the huddle. I'm weaving my way back to the huddle, and Lamont's there. He looks up at me, he says, Brown, you wrap up on that guy. I said, Lamont, in the huddle, I said, Lamont, I said, you go to hell.
To put it in perspective, were these semi-pro teams, would they dominate a high school team from back then?
Like Rex said, that Tuscarawas team they were a tough team.
They're like a college team almost in a way.
I would say they'd beat a small college. They wouldn't be, Bowling Green, but they were tough.
Okay.
They probably would have got wore out playing, college
Yeah.
teams.
Wow.
I remember that back from Tuscarawas. My gosh, he was a big guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell a story about one scrimmage we had. Roger Carter, who's a dear friend of mine, still is to this day, played middle linebacker. I was the center. So in scrimmage, like I said, everybody said, scrimmages were headhunters. I'd go out there and try to block him, and he'd throw me around, throw me off, make the tackle. One day, we're just getting ready to start the scrimmage. Here comes Roger running over the hill. I'm here. So everybody lines up. Well, they're in a 4-4 defense, so I got the middle linebacker. I go out and I knock him right over his ass. I think, yeah. So I go over and pick him up and he goes, Luke, take it easy on me, I'm drunk. There went my ego, Yeah, that's a true story.
I believe it.
Speaking of experiences, one of my favorite experiences I had playing, we played Sydney down at their place. It was on a Saturday. And once again, they got a tailback, it'd probably 6'1". I'm 5'11" now, but I was 6 foot back then, about 200. And, but their tailback, he was about 6'1". I bet he went 250, 260, but he had a behind on him that wide, about big as a barn door. And we were playing him, and he ran a sweep. Of course, same thing happened like Columbus game, I knocked him out, kicked his feet out from underneath him on the sidelines, and I'm kind of on my side, and I just caught him on the corner, he's coming down on top of me, and all I seen was this big wide butt coming down on my head. Well, he lands on my head, and I kind of get up, and my arms were kind of numb, and my face mask, he landed on my head, my face mask got smushed. My ears were almost sticking out of the ear hole, and I couldn't even get my helmet off, so I ran over the sidelines. I sat on the bench, and one guy got on one side, one guy put the thumbs in there and tried to pull the bar.
Wow.
Rick, give me a couple of your favorite memories, couple of your favorite stories, if you can think of anything right off the top.
Well, the first thing is I would admit what Rex said. We were playing Wauseon, and Randy had went to Wauseon with Nick Flores, and they were pretty good. But he did, in the huddle, say, just give me the ball. And that what? He did. And we did, and it worked. But there's a lot of good stories. There were so many, like when Randy started Wauseon, it was kind of, went over there, it was kind of a blow because he was probably the most popular guy on our team, and we all looked up to him real well. But you go back, like when they talk about Lamont, he was something, and Rex was something. I won't like to get into credit for that. And the rest of us were just there, and we kind of all gelled, and it worked,
What made, you got, a lot of people have mentioned Lamont, and I grew up 2 doors down from him. He worked at Maumee Valley Vending forever, and he'd always be out back with Tom Doty building a race car, for Oakshade and that. And I remember Lamont as just kind of a big old teddy bear. What made Lamont Wiley so good? I mean, I know he was big, but something...
He was extraordinarily quick for a big man.
Okay.
That's what I remember. I couldn't believe how he could come off the ball, and he could dominate. Without a doubt. I think when he a high school All-American.
He was.
I think he was.
Yeah,
he was good. He was really good.
Why do you guys think that this community embraces football so much? What are the reasons behind it?
I just think it's been passed on from generation to generation.
But why more so at Liberty Center? Because there's other schools that try to pass certain traditions down. what makes Liberty Center different? Because it is, and you guys have all stayed. I know my oldest sister thinks the earth drops off on the edge of town. Like there is no other place to her. What is it about Liberty Center that makes it so attractive for you guys?
Because there's no bars and we got nothing else to do.
We don't have water polo.
No.
I think when you, like you talked about when you were younger, people you thought a lot of. Well, when I was younger and as I aged, guys like Kip Kern, without a doubt. I mean, they just breathed football. They breathed fire, you know, at a football game. You know what they were like, and they just rubbed off on you, you know. And it's like I said, Nick's here, my son, and Jesse. They both played football and did quite well, and it's just something you want to be a part of. And last year, my grandson was the quarterback of that team, so it's just a blessing to be here, I think, you know. Bigger ain't always better, you know.
Yeah.
I like it where we're at.
I remember when I was in grade school, of course, we'd watch the players go out to practice through the windows, you know, and we'd quit doing what we were doing in the classroom, and, you know, all the guys would just look at him and say, boy, we want to be like them, you know, someday. And, you know, it's pretty cool.
Anything to add?
I'd like to add one thing about that Wasion game when Randy was coaching. I don't know if he remembers or not, but your announcer cost you that game. Remember he said the first time Liberty Center's been behind it, I don't know how long. You remember that? And that fired it, actually it pissed us off. Come back at it.
I don't know.
Would you guys do it all over again? Play for the Bengals like we asked the other guys?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I changed in my life is a couple of my marriages.
Well, these guys played with the old Bengals, and I think that was probably a lot of fun. It was a struggle with that new league. And, like I said, I played 2 years, and
It was safe on the field.
I would do it again, yes.
Yeah.
You would?
Yes. But the problem was, after about 3 or 4 years, then I got married, and I was playing like 100 games of softball, and then going to play football. I think I played enough, but you know, that team, you know, you can tell by the people here, these guys respected each other. And I think respect's a big thing in our society nowadays. You don't get enough of it. But I don't remember anybody not getting along when I played. We all just enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of things after practices, after games. As a group, we were always together, and we all blended well.
That's awesome. Louis, do you have any regrets? Anything you might have done before or after a game?
That's rather a dumb question, isn't it?
Before, after, and
As they say in Congress, I take the Fifth Amendment.
If any of you guys could have changed the position that you played, was there ever a position that you wished you could have played in that old timers league that you never got to?
Not really.
no.
I'd like to have been the quarterback, but my brother was better than me, so that was a little bad.
We had a couple big guys. We had Wiley, and one not mentioned was Dewey Leonard.
Do it, yeah.
And Dewey was mean.
He was an animal.
I've heard some stories about Dewey.
Yeah. I had a little problem. I was only like 220 or 230 and playing guard. They moved me to tackle for one play or so. And that guy across from me, that's the first I'd ever really seen stars like that. And so they pulled me out, get me organized, and they sent Dewey in my place. Sent Dewey in there, and he took care of that guy. I went back out there, and that guy's mild as a kitten.
Now, if you lined Dewey Leonard and Lamont Wiley across from each other and let them loose,
2 747s coming together.
Yeah.
neither one of them would have backed down, would they?
It's a one-time deal. They might not be able to do it the second time. They were good for about 1 or 2, 3 plays.
Tory, you grew up in this. I want to ask you something. Who were some of these guys that you idolized growing up in this community? And I think if you're a young man and you get to grow up in this community, you're pretty darn fortunate.
Well-
Because there aren't many communities like this.
No, so, I get emotional when I talk about this stuff, because just because of my coaching journey and things, I'm close, but it just never brought me back like it did these guys, and I always wanted to come back. It just wasn't in the cards for my coaching journey, but, there's no place in the world I'd rather have grown up than Liberty Center, and I get emotional talking about this. I'm going to try not to, but when I was young, of course, Jurassics and Barrett and my cousin Mike Bonner and those guys were playing, but I even, looking at these guys, like, I thought Rick Miller was cool. I thought Rick Miller was awesome, and then his brother Terry was one of my coaches, and my dad would always tell me these stories. And then I hate admitting this, but, I looked up to Coach Lindgren. It's one of the reasons I chose the path I did. I thought he was a cool cat. And I've known, Louis forever and ever, and all these guys. I mean, Coach Moore, I played for Coach Moore. I looked up to these guys and love what they mean to the community, the kids and the families they've raised who now continue the tradition. And I'm a little envious. I haven't got to do that with my family, to be honest, but I'm still proud of it. And I mean it when I say it takes a village, because, so many of these people helped raise me and took me to ball games and things like that. So it is different here. A lot of times I'll ask the question, what makes Liberty Center different? I already know the answer, because I lived it, but it's hard to articulate, and it's like some words are hard to define, but you know it when you see it. It's hard to explain what makes Liberty Center different, but you know it if you've lived it. It's just hard to articulate sometimes. So it's just special. I mean, these guys would, if a neighborhood kid needed something, whether it be money or cleats or a ride, these guys would all do it, because they did it for me, and I'm forever indebted.
Yeah. And without this community, I know people get on me all the time. Well, Liberty Center is your base, and you talk about Liberty Center too much. Well, I don't care, because without these people like this, Black Swamp football wouldn't be here. Because there's been so many supporters in this community and embraced me when I joined this community, and back in 2017, it's been 8 years, but they immediately welcomed me with open arms. They didn't have to. And people like Kyle Kern, Norm Zider, everyone, up here that has talked today, and I don't want to throw out so many names because I feel like I'm going to miss some people, but there's just been so many people that have been so generous to us, and you can't thank them enough, and that's why this community is what it is, and why football is so special here is, I think Jerry Beauty said it one time, is you win with people, and living it right here. This community is special, and can't thank everybody enough for joining us tonight.
Yeah, you guys were awesome, man.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
I gotta have a drink.
Any other memories that we left out that you guys thought of since you've stepped away? Come on up, Mike. And another person like Mike Mann, porch coaches on Thursday night. I look forward to it. I'm going Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and I just love going over there on Thursday nights. And
Oh, you won't be there, will you?
not this Thursday, but other Thursdays. Yeah, go ahead.
This is just a humorous story, maybe to wrap up. Here comes Rex, he'll have one. My favorite old-timer story is, I'm not even going to mention names, who it was or anything, but one particular player decided to do a little pregame tailgating on his own with some friends, and they spent the afternoon at another woman's house consuming some beers, and he kept drinking, and he was with another guy who played the previous year, but he didn't play this year. So he thought he was still on the team. this guy. So he kept drinking with him. He says, "What time are you going over to the stadium?" He says, "Well, I don't know, it starts at 7. He says, "Don't you think we should be there earlier?" He says, "Well, I don't even play anymore." He says, "You don't?" So he said, "I better get over there." So he drives over to the stadium, and by now, the Bengals are down on the field warming up. So I assume he got dressed out of his trunk, ran down the field. Well, just so happens he ran down and started warming up with the visiting team. Didn't know any different. So I think just before the game, the other team escorted him over to he was over on their sideline.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay, well, come on, you tell the story. That's my favorite story. I might add, I am related to it. I won't mention a name.
Oh, my goodness.
That was my story.
I got one story. You're talking about Lamont Wiley. I think it was the last year that we played where we were playing in that semi-pro type one. They had an all-star game in Fawcett Stadium. And our team won. I don't know if we were the North or South. I don't know what it was. But Lamont Wiley was about 35 then, I think, or something, and he was the MVP of that game. And I'll never forget that. I'm going, gee, I mean, he had a fantastic game, but to be the MVP of all that caliber and that talent that was in that stadium was unbelievable, and it was pretty neat, pretty sweet for him.
Do you agree with what Rick said, what made Lamont unique? I know he was big, but there's a lot of big guys that weren't good football players. Rick said he just got off the ball and he was really athletic for his size. Is that what you remember?
Oh, yeah, he was really quick and strong, and, he's a different person when he put the helmet on. When he doesn't have it on, he's, really nice guy, everything else, but you put the helmet on, he'd like to rip your head off, and he was a football player. No doubt about that. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Coach.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you guys so much. It has been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you guys. Coach, anything you want to add after all that?
No, it kind of lines up with what I had always heard from my dad, kind of what I remember in the early 80s. My dad had one of these jackets. I remember these. I remember the Bengals logo. I didn't remember the helmets being suspension helmets, but I remember the colors and a lot of what they said. I remember these programs. Everything lines up, so it kind of takes me back in time. And so I've enjoyed this immensely.
Yeah, outstanding. We'll be back next week with former Napoleon coach Lynn. Great guy and beloved here in Northwest Ohio. Yeah.
Good man.
We'll talk to you then. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll talk to you again next week.